All right, thanks for the interview, Daniel. Last time we spoke, you were in preparation for the fight with Macklin. How disappointed were you about that fight being canceled?
Yeah, I was, to begin with, very disappointed. We worked very hard, prepared very well for Macklin. I was looking forward to that fight. I knew it was going to be a tough fight, against a pretty tough fighter. So it was disappointing, but at the same time, things started to move on pretty quickly, and I had a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a break, and the Golovkin thing came up, so my motivation stayed up really high.
July 26th, you'll be, as you said, fighting Gennady Golovkin, Madison Square Garden, HBO main event. How excited are you that that fight came off?
Yeah, very excited. It's a fight that I've been wanting to happen for a long time, and I knew it would happen eventually. It's for me, get another shot at a title is what I've been wanting, since losing my IBF title. So, and especially fighting a guy, that is regarded as the #1 middleweight in the world. So, that's what I've been saying for years. I want to fight the best fighters, and I'm not ducking anybody, and I want my opportunity.
He's 29-0, 26 knockouts. He's rolling through everybody. Is this the most dangerous fight of your career?
Yeah, I think it is. He does have a great record, but in saying that as well, he hasn't fought guys that have been able to test him and push him at this stage. So he is a little bit untested in that way, and I know I'm going to be able to, do things that are going to be able to unsettle him. He hasn't been for a hard 12-round fight yet, so I've been in plenty of those fights. I've got that experience. I've got that know-how, and I take him there, and I've got the full advantage.
Are you worried about his punching power?
No, to be honest, I'm a defensive fighter anyway. Some of the guys that he has fought have been there for him to hit. He is a good puncher. He does have great feet and great eyes to be able to see what he's hitting. But I'm going to make it hard for him to hit. A lot of people say, it's great to have awesome punching power, but if you can't hit what's in front of you, then it's not going to help you.
He struggled a bit in a few of his last fights. Gabe Rosado, Curtis Stevens. Have you been focusing on anything from those fights that you want to take into the fight with him?
Yeah, I've been watching bits and pieces from many of his fights, some of his early fights as well, and you definitely can't watch too much as well. I think a lot of people in the past have got caught up and been too worried about Golovkin, too worried about what he's going to do. I've watched some of his fights. I know his strengths, I know his weaknesses, but I think the main thing now is to concentrate on myself. I've got my set game plans. I need to make sure they work, and I need to make sure that I fight the best that I can fight, not worry about what he's going to do.
A lot of the odds makers have you, as much as 6-1. How do you feel about being that big of an underdog?
I enjoy that. I like being in that position. It's where I've been most of my career, and I love to prove people wrong. It's the sort of thing that just motivates me and gets me up every day. It makes me train extra hard every day.
For all the praise he's gotten, he's never faced anybody as good as you. Do you think he's underestimating you at all?
I definitely think he's underestimating me, and that's good. I want him to keep doing that. I want him to think he's going to blow through me, and I may be the best credentialed fighter that he's come up against, but he still thinks he is better than me, and he's going to beat me easily, and he's probably going to knock me out. Because I've fought many guys that have been in that same situation, and once we do get in there, things do certainly change, and I'm going to make sure that I've done everything that I need to. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to fight my fight. Worry about myself. Focus on how I'm going to beat Golovkin. Not worry about what Golovkin's going to do. Once I do that, I get into the fight. It'll be history.
A lot of his past opponents, Matthew Macklin especially, they've gone into the fight. They're already beaten mentally. What are you doing to make sure that doesn't happen to you? How do you keep from that happening?
I think it's just like what I've been saying. It's focusing on myself. Concentrating on my skills, my footwork, my hand speed, my power. Those things are keeping me occupied. I'm not worried about what Golovkin can do. I know what he can do. I've seen him fight plenty of times. but you know, I'm more focused on what I need to do and getting the best out of myself as well. You know, if I fight the best fight I can on July 26th, then I know I'm going to win.
Who have you been sparring with in preparation to the fight?
I had some good sparring. I've been sparring guys like Dennis Hogan, Jared Fletcher, who's got a WBA shot coming up. You know, also been sparring a young prospect, super middleweight prospect, Ron Murdoch. So you know, it's been good. It's, you know, all these guys are a little bit different, but they're helping me in ways to get back to certain things that I need to be doing. And you know, I feel my boxing skills you know, are coming along well. You know, for a lot of years I've been able to get in there and fight and mix it up, but now I'm getting back to some old ways, some old habits, making guys miss, making them pay, using my skills a lot better. You know, and also, you know, the toughness is always going to be there.
Are you having any of your sparring partners trying to emulate Golovkin's style, or are you just, you know, having them basically fight the way they fight?
Yeah, to be honest, I just want them to fight the way they fight. I want them to fight the best that they can in sparring against me, because you know, I know all of them, you know, do things maybe a little bit similar to what Golovkin does. You know, obviously not as well, otherwise they'll be world champions as well. But you know, it's just, you know, I just need them to do a couple of little things, and you know, I can work around that. That's all I need.
Can you tell me anything about your game plan for the fight?
I can't tell you too much, give too much away. But you know, to be honest, you know, I know what I need to do, and you know, I need to fight my best in this fight, and you know, I'm excited. I know it's going to be a tough fight, and I'm hoping, you know, the public get behind it, and you know, the Australian public especially gets behind it, because it's going to be an exciting fight to watch. It will be definitely worth watching.
How do you see the fight playing out?
I'd see, you know, obviously he's going to come out banging hard, expecting to knock me out, and you know, when that doesn't happen, I think, you know, a slight hint of frustration may creep in, and that's going to work to my advantage.
You know, Sam Solomon, your fellow countryman, won the IBF title. Were there any thoughts of, you know, not fighting Golovkin and fighting him, or was Golovkin the guy you always wanted?
Yeah, Golovkin's the guy that I always wanted. You know, people have asked me about, you know, if I ever considered, you know, ducking the Golovkin fight so I could fight Sam. So it'd probably be an easier fight, but to be honest, you know, Golovkin is the one that I've been wanting to fight for a while. People have said before in the past that I had ducked Golovkin before. You know, for me, that wasn't the case at all. I wanted to fight the guy. You know, my team, you know, proposed other fights in front of that, so you know, I have to go, you know, with where my team, you know, suggests is our best path, and you know, but I knew eventually a fight with Golovkin would come, and you know, I'm excited that it's a big one, especially in Madison Square Garden.
Thanks, Daniel. Anything last you want to say to the fans for the fight?
Thanks, Matt. Just yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be a great fight, and yeah, there's going to be plenty more to come to.